Welcome to the Peripatetic Anthropologist. My name is Bruce, and I'm an anthropologist. This is the first of a three-part series on the north of Bali, on Buleleng Regency. And today's video is going to be about the 5 main routes to get to north of Bali from the airport. Because when you take these routes, each one has some special features of things that you'll be able to see, interesting sights, nature, architecture, people, great roads. So I'm going to talk about these 5 sites and give you a little tour of Bali as I know it. But we're in Buleleng. We cover about a quarter of the island in terms of land area, but not a lot of people get up here. Not a lot of foreigners get up here, and we have some unique features in Buleleng Regency, and we haven't been modernized yet, like a lot of the south. And even Eat, Pray, and Love land of Ubud, you'll find Starbucks and concrete, and hotels and spas and villas. We started on villas. I just hate that word. This is my rant about villas. It's a house with a pool, okay? Get over it. Quit being pretentious. Villas, villas, villas. Anyway, we have some villas up here, but nothing like in the south, thank God. And so I'm going to talk about our unique features, some of our unique features up here, but also what you can see on the way up here. But first, let's take a look. This is what Buleleng was like 30 years ago. Can you find things like this still here? Yeah, if you get off the main roads, you go through all this beautiful scenery, rice paddies, oceans, forest, a little bit of everything. First, a little bit about myself. I've been in Indonesia for 30 years. I came here in 1989, and the first place I landed was in the province of what was then called Irian Jaya. It's now called Papua and West Papua. I worked there for 9 years, and I was commuting back and forth. On vacations, I would go back to Bali, where I lived. I got married a few years after I arrived here, and my wife is from Singaraja, and so I was going back and forth. I loved Irian Jaya, Papua. This is a scene of me pulling leeches off my hand. It was a great place. So then I moved to Pakistan for 4 years and going back and forth again, and then finally Sumbawa, where I lived for 6 years with my family, and we were going back and forth, and I've been retired for the last 10 years and have been at home in Bali. So, Buleleng. Let's take a look at Buleleng, and this is the Buleleng Regency up here. Covers all this land area up here, and so it's 25%, like I said, of the land area, and it has a population of about 650,000. Singaraja is the capital. That's where I live. It's got a population of 100 to 120,000. Traditional culture here is a little different from some places in the south, in Ubud, but it's alive and well. Often performed just for locals, like this great music performance. Okay, here's my Regency map. I love maps. So here's my Regency map, and we've got Buleleng up here in the pink, and we go from over here by Gilimanuk up to Pupuan, well known for its diving and snorkeling. Pupuan, which is a relatively recent tourist area, a lot of diving, snorkeling up here, and an interesting little scene. I've only been there a couple of times. And then down the coast, we have Lovina and Lingaraja. Of course, Lovina is the main tourist area in Buleleng, and we border Karangasem, and I'm going to talk about this. This is my favorite route around Bali to get up north from the airport. Bali with Kintamani and Mount Batur, Lake Batur. We got a little border with Badung and a much bigger one with Tabanan. And we're going to be talking about the Tabanan area because this is the most frequent route, goes right through what we call Badugal. What have I missed? Gianyar, which has Ubud, and we don't have a boundary with that, and Klungkung. Klungkung is a pretty interesting place. It's well worth a visit. So why are we not so visited? Well, we've got mountains that run all the way over here, all the way around. And so the mountains have isolated the north in a lot of ways. And that's made us culturally and socially kind of the other side of Bali. So we have these mountains that slope down into the narrow coastal plain, and so we're known for our mountains and our long coastline, which is a little different from other coastlines. People live right on the ocean up here, right on the sea, not the ocean, right in the sea. You see, this is a kampong just down the road from my house, and it's a little fishing kampong, and you'll see something like this. This is my kampong, another predominantly fishing kampong, although a lot of other occupations as well. And again, the houses are right on the sea. So we're a little different from other parts of Bali. It's often said, well, if everybody works in tourism. Well, up north, that's not true. Over 50% of the population are employed in non-tourist activities, like small businesses and agriculture and fishing, especially fishing because we have that long coastline. These are my kids fishing, and animal husbandry. Lots of animals. And then about 40% of the population is involved in the tourist industry, hotels, restaurants, that kind of thing. We have a really long history here, and very colorful. This is one of the descendants of the founding king of Buleleng, Gusti Panji Sakti, and Gusti Panji Sakti came to Buleleng from down in Gelga, where his father was the Raja, and his father said, "Son, go out and make a new kingdom in the north of Bali." So, like a good son, he took off. He got up into the mountains, as the story goes. He was hot, tired, thirsty. There was no water. he took his magic kris, plunged it into the ground, and a spring formed. And that spring is still here. You can find it at the Pupuan Katipat up in Lake Baraton area. And so the founding date of the city, Singaraja, and the kingdom, Buleleng, is the same. It's celebrated March 30th and 1604. So, been around for a long time. But I'm going to talk more about the history in another video when I talk about Singaraja, and that will be the next video. So, let's move on and take a look at the 5 routes to North Bali. Okay, a new map. I love this map. Now this map I like because it's clearly got some roads that you can see here, and so I'm going to talk about those. And we're going to start down here at the airport. But first we have to get out of Denpasar. And so, what about Denpasar? Well, when I first came here, I saw Denpasar as this hot, dirty, crowded, noisy place that I just wanted to get out of. But in 2012, I moved there for a few months, rented a house with my daughter, one of my daughters, who was in university, and I really came to love Denpasar. It's got fantastic architecture. This is just a normal house, and people are very, very lovely. They're not jaded by being pushed under by continual tourist activity, and so they're really surprised when they find a foreigner living in the city, not in the tourist area, and they're very open, and they want to learn about you, about where you come from, and they want to share their life as well. Love talking about Denpasar. So this is well worth visiting. I know most people think no, but get out into a neighborhood and just kind of walk around and stop in a war room and have a drink and have a conversation. Go into one of the little restaurants, the local restaurants. You'd be really surprised, and I think pleasantly. Okay, so we've got these 5 routes. Okay, so where are we going to go? We're going to start down here. Where's my point? There we are. Okay, so we're going to start down here, and we're going to do the West Coast route first. And so we're going to go up here, and we follow this road. Now you could go this way too. And we get up through Tabanan and make our way up here, and we're going to go up here. Now, what about this route? Well, there's some incredible scenery, natural scenery, ocean views, sea views, some amazing statues. Now, I just came across this. I was looking for some old friends. I was in a village called Yekuning, and suddenly, I hadn't been there in 15 years, there's like hotels and spas. I was really surprised, and I stumbled across this, I don't even remember where I stumbled across her, this mermaid, but I did. So there's some really interesting things to see here. The problem is that this road is very dangerous. You get a lot of traffic that comes in from Banyuwangi, from Jawa, comes in on the ferry, and it comes down here, and you have trucks and buses, cars, motorcycles, all traveling at high speed, both ways, and there's a lot of accidents here, and a number of fatal accidents. In fact, just last week, an Australian woman was sentenced to some time in jail because she killed a young Indonesian guy. She ran into him on her car. He was on a motorcycle. She was trying to pass a truck and smacked him. Unfortunately for both of them, So it's not a place that I go anymore. It's not a road that I use anymore. There is Madewi, the surfing place, which is over here somewhere. I think over around here. But I don't go there just because I don't enjoy the ride anymore. The traffic is just so crazy that I don't have a lot of time to or an opportunity to enjoy it because I'm trying to make sure I don't get killed. But if you've got a driver and you go here, it's well worth passing through. Stop in at Nagara, and this is the quickest way if you want. If you're planning to go up to Pemutaran or Pulau this is the quickest route to go. So just so you know, it's not the safest route. Now, there's another route that goes down the west coast, well, for a while, a little bit. And that one, okay, we come up here, we can do this, right, or this, and we get over to Antasari, and we head up into the mountains, and head up to the village of Pupuan. And this is what you see there. Now, this is the first place I ended up in Bali when I was coming up north. I got on the wrong bus. I was new to Bali. I'd been here for a week. I'd been in Kuta. I was just overwhelmed by all the craziness down in Kuta. I wanted to get someplace more quiet where I could think and relax and meet some locals who were not directly in the tourist industry. And so I headed up north, and I got to Pupuan by mistake, and I really, really loved that ride. And I make some trips up there occasionally, just because of the scenery. It's not that far from where I am. I can drive from here, Singaraja, go to Seririt, and I can drive up here. There's a well-marked road now, which there wasn't in the old days. So that's route number 2. So we've got 2 routes, okay? And we're going to pause for a minute here because the Muslim prayer call is coming, okay? And so we're going to pause the recording. Okay, and so those 2. Now, number 3, if you want to get up and see Mount Batur up in the Kintamani area, this is number 3. So where are we? We're over here, right? And we're going to make our way up here, and you can go a number of different routes, and this might be the easiest actually, to go down through the bypass, Nurai bypass, and you come up this way, and there's a turnoff to get to Gianyar, and you come up here. Gianyar is not my favorite place, but if you want to see everything in Bali, you should stop in Gianyar, and then you make your way up, and here we are in Ubud. And so you can take a stop in Ubud, the land of eat, pray, and love, ladies. It's yoga central. Ubud has changed so much in the 30 years that I've been here. I don't really enjoy it that much anymore. There's just so many tourists. It's tourist year round now. It used to be tourist seasons there. Now it's tourist all year round. Lots of residents, foreigners in Ubud. This is one of my favorite streets, though. I've been staying in the little homestay here, right over here, for the last 30 years. And, well, it's worth stopping for a few days. There's some great walking trails, lots and lots of restaurants, and if you are a yoga person, boy, you can find tons of yoga, and there's a great little bookstore, Ganesha bookstore. Really, if you love books, you have to visit that. Okay, and so we get out of Ubud, and you've got Tegallalang and the famous rice fields. And why do I like this road? Because this is my second favorite road, maybe my first. I'm not sure, because it's not heavily traveled, and you go through some incredible forest land, lots of small villages, very friendly people. You go during the clove season and you get this incredible smell of cloves set out on the side of the road drying. It's just, I hate to say magical because everybody goes, oh, Bali's so magical. Bali's an island. But yeah, there's some magic here obviously because I'm still here. And a lot of us that come here not planning to stay end up staying. So you get some great roads, and you head on up into Kintamani, and you get great views of Mount Batur. Especially nice for me, I really like being up there really early in the morning when the air is fresh, 6 o'clock, 6:30 when the sun is just coming up, and there's not a lot of traffic. It's just, I like traveling early in the morning, and so you can get some fantastic views of Mount Batur. People go hiking there, and what else? Well, you travel down the road, so coming down from Mount Batur on your way to Kubutambahan on the coast, you come across this. This place is just, I don't know, it's there's 5 rooms, and it looked like it was made for tourists. I've never seen it actually open, and it has these elephants here on the top. And there was, over here, there's a building that was kind of, it said drinks and things, but it's been abandoned for as long as I know. I don't know the story. I'd love to know the story about it, but I've just never really stopped around and seen anybody to ask them about it. So you get these fantastic views as you go down, and so that's working your way down here, and some great villages, beautiful views. Get down to Kubutambahan on the coast, and I like Kubutambahan too. And then you make your way over to Singaraja, and if you're going to the tourist area, you've got Lovina, and you can come down here. So this is number 2 on my favorite list, or number 1. I'm not quite sure, but we're going to talk about the next one, which is either number 1 or number 2. And where is that? Where is that? That's in the next part. We're going to split this into 2 because it's just gotten too long, a lot longer than I thought. So come back next week and you can see the final part of my 5 routes to North Bali. Thanks. Happy travels.